Hello, and welcome to our inaugural Facebook live stream here for Six Figure Dog Business. Now, I tried to do this morning. I totally screwed it up. Facebook does not make this easy. This is supposed to be cross-posting from my Facebook page and also on the e-collar technology page. And so hopefully it is. We're going to find out because I tried and I've been spending hours and hours and hours today to try to figure this out. So hopefully it has. But if you're here, I welcome you here. This show is for dog trainers. If you're not a dog trainer, you're welcome to stick around. But this show is for professional dog trainers, either people that are making a living doing it or are attempting to make a living or are planning on making a living in the short-term future here. This show is about marketing, it's about sales, and it's about how to grow a business in the dog training field, because this is a really cool industry. We're living in a really cool time where the ability to make great money, make a great impact, help tons of dogs, and earn the living that a lot of people think you couldn't make with dog training. This is all happening right now. So today what we're going to be talking about is how to avoid the feast and famine. Feast and famine is what a lot of service professionals, not just dog trainers, but service professionals go through. You know, they get a lot of referrals this month, and so they're doing good, and they're feeling on top of the world, and the next month they're down, and the next month they're up, and then they're up, they're down, they're up, they're down. And this is feast and famine, and a lot of dog trainers deal with this, primarily because I found that most dog training businesses are built on doing a good job. And you might think, hey, isn't that a good thing? And it's definitely not a bad thing to do a good job. In fact, you absolutely should be doing a good job. But what happens when you build a business on doing a good job is you build through getting referrals. You build through, maybe the veterinarian likes you. You had a client that likes you. And this is how you build the business, right? You go slowly and it grows slowly and it gets to a point to where you're making a full-time living and you're like, this is great. I've got a website out there, so some people find me that way. I've got a lot of referrals. And you kind of break it down to those two main things for most dog trainers. They've got a website, they've got referrals. Now, plenty of dog trainers can get to a point to where they can make a really good living that way, even despite some of the ups and downs. And then there are some dog trainers that get to the point to where they've been in business long enough that they don't have some of these big ups and downs, maybe little ones from time to time. They don't have those big problems, but if they want to grow and add a new employee, they can't just bring on new revenue to do that. They don't have any system for bringing on new revenue on demand. Or maybe they want to take a month off, or maybe dad's sick in a different state and you got to go be there for a few weeks, or other things happen and you're needing the ability to either grow this business or have business run even without you being there being the one doing everything at all times, right? And so like I say, that turns into quite the problem for a lot of businesses that are even successful. And in fact, a lot of the successful businesses go out of business over time because they burn out. I've been there, almost been out of business twice. Not because the business wasn't doing well, but because of burnout. I was getting so tired of 80-hour weeks, putting in so much effort, even with good money, I was getting so tired. And so you can even be somebody that has, fairly steady income, but this feast or famine can affect you in such a way to where you have to work so hard to get it and you have to kill yourself to do it. And that's crazy. It shouldn't be like that. So we're going to talk about that today and why a referral-based business and doing just a really good job is not how you're going to do this. How you're going to create the lifestyle business that you want, because ours is a business where you can create a lifestyle. You can, whether you want to be, working 3-4 days a week and making six figures, whether you want to grow a business big enough to where you've got multiple trainers and they're doing the work and you're just kind of managing things. However you want to build it, we live in a time where we can do that with dogs. It's pretty darn awesome. So like I say, what I really want to discuss today is how to get you over that worry, because I've been there. I remember what that was like, to where every single month you're like, ooh, are we going to make enough this month? Is this going to be a good month or a bad month? Or if it's a good month, how good? Or we really need to hire an assistant, or we really need to invest in this, or I really need to spend $2,000 on crates, or you know, you got these things that you got to purchase and you just don't have the capital available to do it because of this, you're all over the place, right? So we're going to talk about that today. Now, a lot of people might question, like, well, why is that? Why is it that I do have this feast and famine? Because if you're in any size area that's a decent enough size where there's a lot of dog owners, you know for a fact there's a ton of dog owners over here saying, I need help, I need help, I need help. And then there's you over here saying, I can help. And so if there's always a ton of them, and it's not like there's, you know, there are seasons that can be slower. Maybe Christmas time is a little bit slower. Maybe back to school is a little bit slower. So there are times a little bit slower, but there's always people needing help, and there's always you over here willing to help. So why is there this gap? Why is there this, you know, this gap that needs to be bridged on why they aren't getting to you as consistently as you would hope, or as consistently as they could? And I think there could be a million reasons, but it really boils down to two main things that I'm going to talk about today. Number one is messaging. The messaging that you're putting out there in the marketplace. I always encourage people to do this exercise, and it's kind of funny. If you check out your website, find 5 other websites of dog trainers in your area, and compare. And then do this. Take off, you know, imagine yourself taking the names of the business off of the website and switching them around. Is it that big of a difference? And most of the time, I'm sorry to say this, folks, most of the time it's not. Most of the time, what you're going to see is you're going to see people say, look, we teach the dog how to sit, heel, lie down, come, stay. We use humane methods, and we teach owners how to communicate on a level that their dog understands. Is there anything wrong with saying that? No, not at all. I mean, that should be part of your message if that's what you're doing, you know, if that's how you train. It should be part of your message, but every dog trainer's saying it. So if every dog trainer's saying it, and you're also saying it, how does somebody choose? Well, they're not going to choose based on who's giving the most value, because no one's proving that, right? And so they're going to choose based off of other stuff. They're going to choose based off of price. They're going to go for maybe lower price. They're going to choose based off of who's got better availability. They're going to choose based off of who's closer to them, maybe who's willing to come to them instead of they have to drive to them. And so they're going to choose based off of other things that aren't related to how good a job that you do. Because the good of job that you do, that's probably not correct English, but the job that you do, how well you do it, is not being communicated very well. Because like I say, you're saying the exact same thing as everybody else. So how do you say something different? We're in a tough business as far as doing that, because how do you quantify what's different? And it's tough to really do that. Like if you're in other businesses, you can quantify it, right? Like if you're a plumber, you know, if you're in a service business like plumbing, you as a plumber could say, hey, here's what's different and unique about us. When you call us, we'll be there within an hour. That's different, right? Than most plumbers. Now, if all plumbers started doing that, you have to find something else. But that would be something different, if more than likely. I don't know a lot about plumbing. Or if you're a personal trainer, hey, I can help you lose 20 pounds in 30 days. That's quantifiable. You know, that the exact result, we can put a number on it, and we can quantify it, and we can say, hey, that's better because this plumber might take longer, or this plumber, you know, and that chiropractor might do this, or whatever the business is. Now, in dog training, you don't really quantify our results very easily, do you? You know, it's not like our results are 38% better than the other dog trainers. Like, you can't really do that, right? And so how do you differentiate your results? Therein lies the answer, and the question there is you differentiate the results. And so what I mean by that is you have to create, I always call it a sandbox or a playground. I kind of interchange the terms. But you have to create your own sandbox. And in this sandbox, here's how we play. We play like this. Now, in our sandbox, this is what we do and this is what we don't do, and so forth. So let me tell you what I mean. Go to any Facebook group where there's a bunch of dog trainers and watch when one dog trainer posts a video of their work. What's going to happen? You're going to get some people that are like, hey, great work. You did a great job. That's thrilling. That's awesome. And then you're going to find these other dog trainers like, this work sucks and here's why, and I hate it and here's why, because that's not a trained dog. Here's the thing, folks. A trained dog, that is a completely subjective term. There is no such thing as a trained dog until we define it based on your sandbox, based on your playground that you've created. Because for this guy over here, a trained dog is a dog who, on the leash, off the leash, comes when called every single time. Even with distractions, somebody rings the doorbell, he can send the dog to go to his bed and lie down. He goes on a hike and the dog's gonna heel with him off leash next to him on the trail. He goes to a farmer's market, there's no pulling, there's no sniffing at the produce. Anyways, that's what his version of a trained dog looks like. Over here, that person's trained dog is not obedience related. That person's trained dog is, the dog is calm. The dog is respectful of boundaries. The dog doesn't rush out of the door. The dog, might not be very great at obedience, but isn't doing a whole lot of things wrong. So that's what that trainer has defined as their sandbox. This is what it looks like. This is what a trained dog looks like when you come play with us, is what that trainer's saying. This trainer over here says, well, I really need the dog to understand vocabulary, and the process is important. The dog has to never experience stress the whole way through, and he has to really enjoy it, and that's why we've got these treats and these clickers and stuff like that. And so the process is part of the sandbox that they're creating. And so at the end of the day, every trainer is defining what a trained dog looks like to them. And what you're going to find is out in the marketplace, meaning all the dog owners out there, they've got their ideas, but their ideas can be influenced based off of expertise. Because really, the language that they're using to describe a trained dog isn't very advanced, and it shouldn't be, because they're not experts like you are. And there's nothing wrong with not being an expert. That's why they hire us, as dog trainers, right? So that we can help them understand what a trained dog looks like. So that way, if there were two dog trainers, and this one identified his sandbox as, hey, it's obedience related, and it does this, this, and this because of this, and this one identified their sandbox, and they say, look, it's not obedience related, but it's relationship related and mindset related and stuff like that. Now somebody can actually choose based off of the results that they want to get. What do I want my life to look like? What do I want my dog's life to look like when we're done with training? And very few dog trainers do this. Very few dog trainers are differentiating on a good level, where the owners are able to understand, okay, if I go with you, this is what it's going to look like. If I go with you, this is what it's going to look like. And so all dog trainers get jumbled into one in the dog owner's mind, and it becomes much more difficult to choose, and they're choosing based off of other stuff. How many times you get someone call you up and say, how much do you charge? Because that's what they're finding out in the marketplace, is they don't know how to differentiate, so it's just who's cheapest, or, whoa, that's too cheap, that's something suspicious there, so I'm going to go with this guy because that price sounds right. Isn't that crazy? If you have a big problem in your life, how important is price? How important is, if you have this big problem, you've got cancer, and you go to the doctor, and one doctor is $1,000, and he's like, maybe I'll help you. I don't know. And one is $20,000, and he can prove to you, look, I get this cancer solved 9 times out of 10. Blah 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 blah. Obviously, this is not how medicine works, but picture this happening. This one doctor is saying, hey, I can do $1,000 and hopefully I can help you. What I've done is good and what I do is typically good. And this guy says, no, I specify in what cancer you have, and I have this process, and it's an amazing process, and 9 times out of 10 it's successful, and look, I've got this proof. Look at all these testimonials and blah, blah, blah. And it's $20,000. Who are you going to choose? You're going to find $20,000. If this is terminal cancer that's going to end you, or if this is a cancer that's going to really harm your quality of life, you find the $20,000. You're going to skip over that $1,000 because he's not giving you a message, or she's not giving you a message of, look, here's how I'm different. They're simply saying, look, I work in this industry. And that's what most dog trainers are doing. I work in this industry. How about you buy some hours off of me? How about you buy 5 sessions from me? How about you buy 2 weeks of board and train from me? And they're not doing anything to differentiate. So, like I say, right there, that creates such a big problem. It's so hard to go to the marketplace and figure out, and really make a difference such that people are wanting to flock to you. If you define your sandbox and you say, here's exactly how we play, you will find there are a lot of people who are like, I don't like how you play. And you should be like, thank goodness you told me that, because now I don't have to waste my time marketing to you or trying to, my sandbox doesn't work for you. But because you're so specific on how your sandbox works and what it's like to play in yours, you will make people so attracted to you. Maybe you're doing the exact same stuff as you were before, but your messaging is different such that you're defining your sandbox so completely. People will become so attracted to that, and people will become so repelled, and selling is going to be easier, and selling for a higher dollar amount is going to be easier, and selling for a higher dollar amount is important so that you can sell, so that you can provide better service, so you can help these people more. And it all starts with that messaging, and this is, like I say, something that so few dog trainers actually do really well. Now, I mentioned there's two things. That leads to the second thing. When you do not have the messaging, it becomes difficult to create a machine. So by a machine, what I mean is you have, for our company, it's usually online properties. And by online properties, I mean a website, some sales funnels that we send paid traffic to, and some Facebook work that we do. So three things. We've got those three things going, and that's what we call our machine. And every single day, our machine pumps out leads, every single day. Leads. Every single day I can count on X amount of leads, depending on how much money I'm putting into the machine, into the paid advertising or whatever. And so we can count on a certain amount of leads. So guess what? If we need to grow, we add a little bit more to advertising, we get more leads. If we need to grow, we do a little bit more of this stuff on Facebook, we get more leads like clockwork. And with those more leads, we get more sales. And we can do that because the messaging is far more clear. If the messaging that you have is, look, we're pretty darn similar to other dog trainers, and we can also teach your dog to sit down, come, heel, stay, and roll over. We can do the same stuff too. Pay me. Your messaging won't stand out, and then trying to pay for traffic, trying to pay for advertising, with that messaging, you'll lose your shirt. You'll spend so much money, and you'll have nothing to show for it because you put all this money out there to say, look at me. My sandbox is the same as everybody else's. And so it doesn't work. But like I say, if your messaging is different, now it allows you to raise your prices, it allows you to make selling easier, and it allows you to put yourself in a position where if you need to advertise, you can. If you already got web traffic coming to your website, you can adjust it based off your messaging. And now that traffic is going to convert at a higher amount. You'll get more clients from it, and you'll get more higher dollar sales from it. And so everything starts with the message, and once the messaging is there, it allows you to create this machine where you can get, like I say, you just crank it. You just crank, and you get leads, sales, sales. As much as you want, as much as you need, as much as your market allows. It's not like you can spend $100,000 a month on ads in your local market. But as much as your market allows, it allows you to do that. Not only in doing that, the machine, having a marketing machine like this allows you to spend your time doing things that you like, whether that's working on your business, whether that's going to the beach, which is what I do 4 or 5 times a week, whether that's whatever the case might be, it allows you to do extra things because you've got this machine that's just cranking out leads. When you don't, it puts you in a mindset of scarcity. Where am I going to get those next leads and sales? It puts you in a mindset where you have to overwork yourself. Like, I got to go make more relationships with veterinarians. I got to go put up more flyers. I got to go give out more business cards and other stuff that's just not going to work because you don't have the messaging in the first place. You're not communicating how you've got the best darn sandbox for how you've created it in the world. Our training isn't for everybody. And I don't want to even try to sell it to everybody. Our training is for a certain type of person who wants a certain type of result, and we've created an amazing sandbox, and we can communicate exactly what's different about ours, and that allows us to create a machine that's super simple, that cranks out the leads and whatnot. So hopefully this is something that, as you're looking at this, you're seeing, okay, I've got one of two problems here. Either my messaging isn't unique enough, or maybe my messaging is unique, but I just haven't figured out how to build that machine. Either way, let us know if we can help. You can leave comments down below, and I will check on those later. and answer questions. You're welcome to come to the website, tithedogguide.com, or down below in the description, you're going to find a link to a free report on how we use messaging in order to sell our training at up to $300 an hour and keep 7 trainers busy doing just that. Go down to the comments. Go down to the description. You're going to find the link to that. Enjoy it. Grab that free report, and we will see you again soon. The plan here is to start doing these live streams every week. Please let me know topics that you want to talk about, things that you want to hear. Big thanks to Greg over at eCollar Technologies, who is co-sponsoring this. Thanks for allowing this to go onto your page. And thanks you for watching. Keep watching. Message us if you need help. And thank you.